Tell me what would I do if I could feel?
He's got a rocket. His arm is being pulled back by tiny cartoon animals as far back as possible and then flung forward.
You've always said that I throw like a woman, so that
You do throw like a woman.
Super Flag Bros.
You actually look like our mom throwing.
You realize she was better than both of you, right?
That? By far.
it's not nice.
Super Flag Bros.
I would say by the two of us combined, but the two of us combined is actually worse.
Everyone,
One of
you are
us by
listening
ourselves.
to perhaps watching Super Flag Bros, the official Division 6 podcast. Teams enter the third week of the season trying to be as adaptable as Nicolas Cage was in Mr. Kaufman in the 2002 film adaptation. Adapt any situation with official jerseys by Sportira, the official supplier of FPF jerseys. We are brought to you, of course, in the Sportira Cage official supplier, as I said, to FPF. I am your host, Pease Delariz. To my left is Deez Delariz. He is, in fact, my brother in life and my brother in flags.
Brother in life.
Brother in life.
That's redundant. I am obviously your brother in life.
Well, unless you were dead. We are also joined with our producer, Chapman. Of course, he can be found at probably my basement. And to my right, I have our technical director, the Eagle at Master Control, who is entering this week, having lost the at the Table of Terror challenge. He has to actually undergo the first Table of Terror punishment, where he will be eating one lemon per segment. Lemons, please. We're gonna have it brought down from the upper deck here at Sportira Cage.
We need a camera on him, just so they know.
We're gonna bring him in on camera for sure by the end of the show. Of course, if you want to follow me, I am Pease. You can follow me at PeaseFPF. You can follow Deez at Deez. At
Dave's Republic.
At Dave's Republic.
Thanks for forgetting.
No problem. You know who forgot? Tim Hortons when you placed your order today.
No, they screwed everything up. Like
What
I
happened?
ordered a trio. I got just my sandwich firstly. With the sandwich was wrong on top of that, but I didn't notice yet because I was already confused and bedazzled
What
by
was
the
your
amount
order?
of. I ordered a ham sandwich with
How
a
do you
muffin,
scoop
right?
a ham sandwich?
Because
Who
I
orders a ham
didn't get a
sandwich?
ham sandwich,
Please.
and then on top, I tell her I'm like, I got a trio. Where's my muffin? She's like, you didn't order a trio. I'm glad I have to clarify this to her, but anyways, so then I get my muffin. She gave me the wrong one, and the worst thing is, it's the worst. It's carrots and chaps. What is it? Carrots and what?
Oranges, I don't know.
Carrots and oranges.
A vegetable
This
and
is,
fruit
dude.
muffin.
That is the worst mix of my.
I love it because you're basically consuming as many calories as a donut, but now it's got carrots in it. Just dumb.
It's kind of
made,
healthy.
it made me
Yeah,
super sad.
pretend.
Eagle, where's the lemon? You haven't eaten a lemon yet.
Speaking of lemons, a team that was as sour as Eagles lemons were the Spartans this week. They beat Team Laval 34-18 as Eagle digests his first lemon.
But do you think he could die if he has too many of them?
Actually, we looked it up. If you eat about 100, you can die.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Don't
So
worry, he won't die.
we've already covered the Spartans a lot thus far this season, but I think it's worth mentioning. They kind of have sort of a no regard thing going. Deez, do you want to explain to the people of Division 6 who No Regard are, how they came onto the scene?
Well, no regard was a team that kind of has been around for a while. They've kind of risen through the ranks. Like a lot of these teams, they started in the lowest division possible. I think they even started. They were before the salary cap era, I believe, right? When you think
yes,
about
they
No
were.
Regard, they were before the salary cap era. Not that that has much to do with anything because they were new to the league anyway, but as they rose to the ranks, there's a couple of things that we remember and we know about them that they're known for. They're known for their incredible defense, incredible personality. Always had a really good offense to complement that defense, and they kind of risen through the ranks. But in FPF, we remember them mostly for how mouthy they can get and how disruptive they can get and how in your face they can be.
because in the end they were a good team. They were just at a certain
They
level.
still are a good team. They still playing. Yeah,
in Division 2, by the way.
Yeah, Division 2.
And just at a certain point, of course, it got obnoxious.
But I was never in the camp that thought of them as obnoxious. Yes, fighting someone in a parking lot is obnoxious. Yes,
Absolutely.
But that aside, I don't look at having a
That
personality.
eating Eagle. Eagle. I think you could do a better job on that one. Come get your lemon back.
I never looked at it as a bad thing to have a personality and to be abrasive and to be the guy that's always shouting and in your face.
I kind of agree. But that said, the Spartans. By the way, just before I go into the Spartans, do you guys remember the game where the whole No Regard craze started? Do you remember the team they beat to go on to this to start this craze?
I can't remember.
It was the then heavily favored Checkmate team.
Oh yeah, our team. Yeah, all three. Of us.
So it's kind of our fault.
Yeah.
That said, as for the Spartans, like they have overreactions to big plays, and just like a first down, they're all freaking out, screaming and yelling, which is fine. That part I'm okay with. But trash talking soccer teams that are
Yeah,
playing,
you said that, and I maybe I missed it out, and I think I saw some kind of commotion going on. But what happened? They were trash talking
Yeah,
soccer
it was
teams.
the soccer teams were playing before FPF games.
Okay.
which we already have a
which
sort of
they could be
tenuous
pretty
relationship.
douchey, pretty douchey.
I agree, but like we already have a tenuous relationship with some of the fields, with the soccer federations. Why cause more harm? But anyway, they were getting mouthy with them. They were getting into it with officials. One of their players was wearing pockets.
Yeah.
So respected FPF referee George Ladder went up to him very nicely and told him, you can't play with pockets. They were getting in his face, being very rude, very obnoxious. Look, I'm all about being intense, and Division
Right.
6 is all about being intense.
Totally.
That said, guys, don't be smoking axles. Don't be a giant axle.
But I also
I'm
think
using
it's-
axle to replace the word asshole. Don't be an asshole is all I'm saying.
But I think that there's two ways of looking at this. Yes, personality is very good, and I think it's good to have it sometimes when, look, they haven't really had a good run at it so far. They lost the Goon Squad last week. Let's not forget.
Yeah. See, the
so
big
they
thing
lost
in
to the
regard,
worst
they
team.
didn't lose for a long
Right.
time.
So that's the thing. So us saying that they're the next no regard or that they have that kind of personality. No. Like I think that personality helps you in certain situations in a game. It's good to have that. But you know what the fact is, dude. Like you guys aren't performing very well. You lost last week to Goon Squad, and you're lucky to win this week.
Chapman, how long before it gets old? How many days?
I mean,
Was not listening.
4 hours.
4 hours? How many meals for you?
3.
Just 3 meals in 4 hours?
Yes.
All right, that's not bad.
I'm watching my weight.
You've cut down. Team Laval now loses their first game. Are they really a strong team, D's, or are they a product of their weak schedule?
This whole thing about a weak schedule is really, really difficult to see because, okay, the first week they played against TDs and Beers, so that's a pretty tough team.
But a team that's
Right, but then
struggling a little
but I
bit.
know. Okay, then the second week they play Goon Squad. Goon Squad is going to be the lower. It's going to be like one of the last teams in the division for sure. But you know what? Coming up, we're going to really see a lot about them because they're going to be playing Diablos next week, followed by Ravens, followed by Tip Top Shape. So we're going to find a lot about this team's character and also a lot about if they can really survive this kind of schedule. I like a guy like Maxime Turpin-Lalonde. We saw him last year. I think he adds a lot to this team, and playing this week helped them. Not enough, but you know what? Look, Samuel Summer is always going to be getting better. We talk a lot about how you have to throw more than 3 touchdowns in a game if you want to win, and
Well, I
that's
would
basically
say-
what happened.
I would say 5. 5 is the number.
5 is the
that
number,
you
yeah.
gotta score. Diablos beat Sabre FC, otherwise known as
The Buffalo
Saber.
Sabres.
the Buffalo Sabres. Okay, apparently they went 27-25. Diablo's quarterback François Martin went 9 for 22, but he does love the long ball, much like chicks. It's an 80s commercial, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
Is his ability to attack the secondary enough to compensate for his inefficiency?
I don't know what that means, but I'll tell you that he seems like a pretty good, decent quarterback to have, and it's nice that he has George Ali. What's his name again?
George
'cause-
Faster Elivoye.
Yeah, that's it. So George, and we've played with George. We've played against him. He's been on our team, and some of our teams. So we've practiced with him in the offseason as well. Excellent player to have. Really good guy to have around. I've always considered him to be like the momentum thief.
And he had 4 catches for 101 yards.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns on 4 catches.
But it's mostly how he's being used. Like in this game specifically, every time something good would happen for Sabre, it was almost like they would their plan as a team for Diablos was let's feed George the ball. He was consistently he was basically that momentum thief. That anytime something good would happen, George comes in, negates something. Also a big pick in the game for George as well. So. I look at Diablos and I see a really good team, and it's nice to see a guy like George get his full due right now.
Is he a cheat code or a game genie in Div 6?
It's mostly that he's just super reliable. He has so much experience.
I asked you another question.
Right? Is he a genie?
Is he a game genie?
Do you think anyone listening to this podcast remembers what a game genie is?
Yes.
you.
Well, the guys on this show,
Right.
for those of you who don't,
The guys who suck at video
this
games.
is a great chance for you to look it up on Wikipedia, or for those too old to remember what it is, look it up on Encarta.
I see what you say. I see what you're saying about is he a cheat code? Is he like that next level player in this division? I think he's really close to that because he's played in higher divisions. He's played
Yes or no?
Yes,
Give
yes,
me an
yes,
answer.
yes.
Thank you.
But you're acting like he's a god, and he's not a god.
We're going to talk about the 4th and 20 game. Chap, if you want to dig up that score while Eagle comes around
To eat a lemon.
to eat a lemon. So what was the score? No, I want the P.
It was
look at people on camera.
26-24 for 4th and 20.
It was 26-24 for 4th and 20. And I'll talk a little bit about the text you sent me while watching this game. But that's right before we get to the next part. Eric Chacha caught all of Team 4th and 20's touchdowns. Last week we said that someone needs to step up beyond Mark Haggerty. While players did answer this call, is this an example of exactly what we look for, or is it just one guy stepping it up each week, and will that be effective?
Yeah, so he's just yammering on with his, and Wild Eagles eating lemons over him. I think I look at Eric Chacha and I look at the construction of this game. Okay, what happened here? This is obviously a very closely contested game, 26-24. 4th and 20 takes it in the second half of the game. I think what happened was this: there was a big adjustment that happened in the second half. There was a point of the game where there was a decision made. Listen, we didn't score enough points in the first half. 4th and 20 only scored 6 points. They had to make big steps in the second half. So what essentially happened was, Eric Chacha one thing he's really good at is jump balls. Mm-hmm. Exceptional jump ball receiver. He has really big vertical, and they were playing against really short DBs. So when I looked at this game, and I saw a lot of advanced adjustments that this team made. Like they essentially they saw what the main weakness was of Nighthawks, come in and after the first half, and they said, okay, look, let's just air it out. Let's try to catch them in their weakest point. With the vertical, trying to attack the shorter DBs. But that's kind of what Nighthawks were trying to do with Alessandrini. But the problem is that, with this kind of a strategy, only one team can really bring it home when you're focusing on one main guy.
That's fair. Nighthawks did lead early into the second half, and they let that lead escape. And with all the momentum in their favor, like they got the ball in the second half after safety, and they still let the game slip through their fingers.
Do you ever notice how short it feels the second half is? Like, I feel like the first half it drags, and then when you get to the second half,
unless
it's
you're
almost
winning by one score, in which case it feels like forever.
Yeah, really, like it changes a lot. But in a game like this, like the second half just flies, man. And anyways, look, we look at this. Looking back at this game, I think we're gonna see this is one of the best matchups that we've seen so far, wide receiver wise, between Chacha and Alessandrini, and I'd love to see this matchup in the playoffs.
With that, we're about to end the segment. And Eagle gets ready to eat another lemon. I did receive a text from Chapman while he was watching this game, and he said, and I will read you the text. He said, 420 gonna get slaughtered. So a little bit of a reaction. I was like, and then when I saw the score, I said, Chapman, what happened? What do you mean? And then what did you respond?
I responded that I had to leave. And basically, I watched the first 2 drives.
So you watched 2 drives in the game, and that was enough to decide.
Overreaction,
yes.
Chapman.
And with that, I bring you Overreactions by Chapman.
It happens every once in a while that I'm wrong. So, this week, Jean-Guy, okay, they keep scoring only 12 points each week.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to go undefeated this season like this. There's no way their defense can carry them and, carry the load of their offense the whole time. I think they're going to lose. So
when are they going to lose?
They're going to lose.
When?
I'm going to call it in week 5.
Week 5. Who are they playing?
I don't even remember it.
Week 5. Week 5. Week 5.
matter.
Jean-Guy is playing. Jean-Guy is playing Gronky Kong. So you're saying Gronky Kong's going to beat them week 5? This has to be a bet. We have to put this. We have to put this on the board.
I'm gonna bet a table of terror punishment that Jean-Guy will win week 5.
I don't like this bet.
You're taking it automatically.
I'll take it.
Yes. We have an extraneous table of terror bet. Of course, table of terror. We're gonna. If you stick around later tonight, you will see the table of terror segment where we are choosing teams at random because none of us know anything. Chapman, overreaction number 2.
So this week, there's 3 receivers that caught all their touchdowns for their team.
Yeah, we spoke about 2 of them.
Georges
Right now.
Levoyer.
Yeah.
Who else?
There was the 2 from the Nighthawks and.
Considering your job is research.
No, but Chacha had 4 touchdowns, and Alessandrini had all 3 touchdowns.
Had all 3 touchdowns. Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 receivers.
So the guys we mentioned. Okay.
So
what's
these
your reaction?
guys, you need to put your best defender on them.
Yeah, but what if you don't
and
have
hope
any?
for the best. If you don't have any, then you're screwed. Just
Okay,
just
there
throw in
you
the
go.
towel.
Put your best guys in it, but if you don't, you're screwed.
If you don't have a best guy,
Just go home.
Be better.
Yes, be better.
Get in your
Anything
car and
else for
leave.
Chapman?
Or get a better rusher. I don't know. Put your best guy in the QB so he can't make that decision.
Fair.
Okay, I'm sure that's fair.
Also, and my last overreaction is why can't Tim Hortons cut the damn bagel in half?
Tim Hortons is strong
Yeah.
in this podcast.
No, but he's got a good point. You know how hard it is to cut a bagel in half?
It's not that
that's
hard.
that's one of my biggest life struggles.
You know,
No, sorry, cutting a bagel in half.
it is.
Yes.
Well, no, it's
Well,
not,
wait,
it's
half
not
which
hard.
way,
They
like-
always have that one that's super table tiny, and the other one that's gigantic that tastes like
Are you
nothing.
talking about when they couldn't have to present it to you as a sandwich, or just half lengthwise?
No, half to present it to me as
What are
a
you, an
sandwich.
animal? Half-wise? Who cuts their bagel that way?
To spread cream cheese on it.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah, he's right. But
I think you guys are talking about different things.
yes,
probably. We
It's,
always
it's
have
like
different things.
this. It's horizontal cut.
Nobody
Horizontal.
can see you. all right.
Well,
So,
you guys can, but anyways.
You know what? I'm gonna ponder this, and when we get back,
I will give you 5 bagels. You're going to have to cut properly just to prove your
We'll do it
point.
on the show. I'll do it during segments. I'll
Yeah,
do it
good.
during
no,
the
but you gotta cut them.
Perfectly, like 50-50 cuts.
Oh,
I think you guys need to decide.
table
figure
of
out-
terror punishment for you if you fail.
You guys need to decide which half you're talking about. Of course, Duke, famously last week was
There's
talking
3
about
halves.
which halves, how many halves there are. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Eagle's going to eat more lemons.
Why not have him eat them during the break?
Cutting bagels in halves. That's what this show has become.
It is the hardest thing to do in the world without cutting yourself.
It's also hard to win with non-traditional offenses. As Eagle continues his non-traditional diet for this evening as he continues to eat lemon wedges. Let's take a look at some of the non-traditional offenses we see in lower divisions, and specifically in Division 6.
Yeah.
We see, what have you seen so far, Deez?
What I've seen is this. I see right now, if we just look at teams that like to rush the ball a lot of teams that have, for whatever reason, have focused mainly on rushing the ball in certain situations. We see teams like Sabre FC, we have Nighthawks, and Tip Top Shape. But this is for different reasons. We have 3 quarterbacks that are capable of running the ball. They're capable of getting gigantic yards. I mean,
Well, the biggest case for me, the best dual threat
Yeah.
in the division is David DeAndre.
oh yes, absolutely. And the fact is this, and that's one of the reasons why they're so heavily favored right now, is that not only can he throw the ball really well, but it's almost like he uses his running ability to get him extra yards, to extend plays, and that's what I feel. That kind of a quarterback offers your team. Like, it extends a play. Like, if you guys aren't open, no offense to you, when you were quarterback, you were not mobile whatsoever.
Hey, I had like
You
7
did
yards
have
of carry or something.
You did, but it's just like.
But
you
I
know,
only run
you-
3 times.
You know what it's like when you go, like, as a defense, when you're covering a receiver, a quarterback that's running back and forth. It's like, at some point there's going to be a liability in your defense.
Yeah, you're gonna need to get a guy in the show as shrapnel falls from the sky. You're gonna need to get a guy definitely who can provide that threat. Like
Right.
a guy who can run for 5 or 6 yards is not really a threat, but a guy who can run for 20 and get a touchdown becomes that threat. And look, one such guy is, if we see it in tackle football as well, one such guy is playing in the Super Bowl in a couple weeks.
And you know what? I think that what it offers as well. Like, I mean, I think that having options is what it really offers. Like,
Are there any downfalls to the option?
absolutely,
playbook?
absolutely. Because when you're usually, I'm not an expert at being a quarterback, but one thing I know is it's always a lot harder to throw off of your feet. Like, if you're not set in your position, right? Like, if you're not set in a position, you're trying to make a throw, it may not be accurate. Your receiver might not be reading it. Like, and I think that also.
What about option plays specifically? Plays with halfbacks, wildcats,
Right. And the thing is this: that wildcat plays in FPF. It's really you're either cashing in on a big run or you're really getting nothing. Like, you're gonna get like minus yards or just maybe 2 or 3 yards because there's so much movement in one play that like right off the snap, there's gonna be people focusing on the guy in the backfield. So it's all about doing it naturally. But if your wildcat plays are not working, you're really only gonna get 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah.
On a play. So
And
that's
to me, the
negative.
biggest downfall is that it takes a receiver away from the
But-
available receivers you have.
But tell me something. Do you feel like this is something that we get a lot in D6 though? Like,
Yes.
do we get more running quarterbacks in D6 than
Yes.
higher divisions?
In higher divisions, even guys who are mobile, we see, for example, a guy like Marco Mastiotto, who's a phenomenal athlete,
Yeah.
just doesn't run because the plays happen so quickly, and you can put up points so much quicker
Yeah.
by being able to make downfield throws. So quickly because we're running short on time. How do you defend an option offense?
There's so many ways to do this, but I mean, it really comes down to what the best assets are in your team. Like, if you're a team that's like Jean-Guy, for example, that can match up man to man, that's not a bad idea because if like a kid,
But then
like-
if a guy runs and you got your back turned,
yeah, I know, but it really comes down to that matchup. If you know that there's going to be if there's a guy in the backfield, you need to assign one of your players just to spy on the backfield. You know, like it needs to be that has to be kind of communicated like beforehand with your team. Like if there is a backfield threat, you know,
well, you also want to dedicate a defender specifically.
Yeah, you really have to dedicate
to
the
rush
defender,
the guy in the backfield.
I
as
know
well.
a lot of teams that what they like to do with option type offenses when they're trying to defend against it. I know a lot of teams, they like to lock the corners, meaning they take the outside cornerbacks, they lock them on the outside receivers, they follow man to man, and then the three interior defenders are basically covering short. So I like that. I've always liked that play call of having the two locking corners on the outside with three short. I like that specifically because what it's doing, it's limiting that option offense. It's limiting the amount of yards that they can get up the middle of the
So
field.
this is the time of the show where it's everyone's favorite segment because you sounded really smart now in that segment. We're going to take it down a notch as we go into Science Hour with Duke. As every week, Chapman, our producer, will produce a
You goddamn lemons.
scientific concept.
You goddamn lemons. If one of them touches me, I'm going to vomit.
He's,
That's a weird threat.
He brings up a scientific concept, and then you have to then define it, and that will become the new definition for that scientific concept.
But how do I know that you're actually not making these things up, though?
You don't.
You don't, because they might. Well, we know you're
It's
making
just
them up.
guesswork. It's just guesswork.
So, without further ado, Science Hour with Duke.
So, Duke,
Yeah.
what is Brownian motion?
Brownian motion? Is it how do you spell it? Brownian motion or Brownian
Brown. BROWNIAN. And then space motion.
motion? It's like Brownian motion. It's like when you eat way too many tacos the night before, and then when you wake up next morning, it's like you gotta go so bad, right? So that Brownian motion just lets it go right smooth down. You know, it's a blast from the past, my friend. You wake up in the morning, you gotta let it go. Brownian motion.
So, just to recap, Brownian motion is when you have too many tacos and the past comes back to haunt you,
Diarrhea.
and you need to let it go.
Diarrhea.
Yeah, the past comes to haunt you in the form of adult diarrhea.
I'll put it in a context. But yo, I ate too many tacos last night. I'm getting some Brownian motion right here.
Speaking of brownies, we're going to go into our picks of the week. We're going to go through really quick. We got Sabre FC taking on Ravens.
I'm gonna go with Sabre FC on this one. I think that Sabre FC really they failed to capitalize this week. Hopefully with better substitutions, better changes this week. I think they can learn their lesson and pull out a good win.
Chapman,
Buffalo Sabres.
because
Because
Because you like seeing the Buffalo Sabres.
I like seeing Buffalo Sabres.
TDs and beer versus Trojans.
TDs and beer against Trojans. I'm gonna go with TDs and beer in this one. I'm riding a hot hand in this.
Smoking Axles or will Spartans continue to be Smoking Axles?
I don't think Smoking Axles are ready yet for what the Spartans can give them. I think the Spartans are going to be up in their face all day. They're probably going to. No, you know what? I'm going to switch my pick.
Wow.
I'm going to switch it. I trust in Jordan Rossi.
All right.
Spartans.
Brick Squad, NWO.
NWO has been playing fantastic flag as of lately. I'm not only am I riding a hot hand in this one, but I just think it's a better matchup overall.
Donkey Kong and Nighthawks.
This is going to be a really, really close one. I know this is the one that Chapman's betting on, right? Is it this one?
No,
you're
it's
betting on?
not. He already forgot. He's
Yeah,
a member
I
of the
already forgot.
Goldfish.
Yeah, I do have memory. I'm going to go with Nighthawks on this one. Excellent team. I don't think Gronky Khan's there yet.
Chapman,
Night-
you have some
Nighthawks.
inside knowledge as well about Donkey Kong, so your pick is?
Nighthawks.
So if you're betting, bet Nighthawks.
Yes.
Tip Top Shape take on Goon Squad.
This is the matchup of the best against the worst. And
Okay.
in this matchup, I can't see there being some kind of an upset. So it's going to have to be tip-top shape.
TTS report, please.
Shanky versus CMS Laval.
It's going back to what Chapman said. 12 points game's not enough, but for this game against CMS Laval, I think 12 points will probably do it.
The Peas Feed ranked third best jersey in FPF. PB and Jelly versus Victoria.
That's an excellent article, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm going to
Best,
go with
team name. Sorry, not
I'm going to have to go with
jersey.
PB and Jelly on this one.
Sandwiches all the way.
Diablos versus Team Laval.
Oh man, Diablo's going to keep riding the hot hand. I already brought up the hot hand like 3 times now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with
Great analysis.
Thanks, man. I think they just found gold. They know what they have with Georgia Voyer, and I think they're just going to keep feeding him the ball.
Team
I'm gonna go
Laval.
Team Laval.
Team Laval,
the
I'm going with
upset.
Diablos. Okay.
The Gamecocks in 4th and 20.
4th and 20, man. 4th and 20 has been a really, really good team this season. Just think that it's a bit of a later game too, and I think that it's going to favor 4th and 20. Hopefully that they can bring everything they got for this one.
420 Blaze it.
420 blazing. Absolutely. I do not want to explain that on this podcast. So just before we go, Thursday's lesson plan. I know there's a time where players, teams want to add players to their teams because they're struggling. We're reaching the halfway point of the season. Remember, double check your cap, double check the cap rules. Message myself, message anyone who works for the league. We'll be glad to help you. And remember, there's a roster verification rule, the tool on the website that you can use. Thank you, Deez.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chap, for all the work you've done. Eags, how you feeling after those lemons? How do you like them lemons?
Get enough
quote
vitamin
from
It's
the
good for your
movie.
digestion. You're gonna get some brownie in motion after that one.
Brownie Emotion will be happening. I am happy not to be seeing it. I am Peace Delariz, of course. You've been watching Super Flag Bros, and remember, goodbye. It is really hard to cut.